Michelle Wie, one of the most successful female professional golfers in history, has had a bad string of luck lately. What happened? Some people are calling it one of the biggest upsets in pro golfer history. Michelle Wie was supposed to be the next big thing in golf, but unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. Stay tuned to find out what went wrong and why it's such big news in this video. Michelle Wie West, once considered the Tiger Woods of women's golf. Michelle, an American professional golfer, was born on 11th of October 1989 in the Hawaiian capital, Honolulu. Her parents were from South Korea but came to the US in 1980. Bo, her mother, was a former amateur Korean champion golfer. So, golfing was definitely in her blood. And at the age of 4, she started to pick up golf. And in 2000, Wie participated in a significant event that caught the attention of the media and fans for her considerable achievement. Don't forget to chip in that subscribe button. Wie West rose to prominence at the age of 10, when she became the youngest player ever to qualify for the US Women's Amateur Public Links Championship. More records were set when she won the Hawaii State Women's Stroke Play Championship at the age of 11 and became the youngest player to qualify for an LPGA event a year later. With a 68 at the Sony Open when she was 14, she set the record for the lowest score by a woman competing on the PGA Tour. She announced her professional debut just before her 16th birthday and went on to sign multi-million-dollar deals with Nike and Sony. Everything was looking right. But unfortunately, her career was marred by injuries, and some in golf believe the hype surrounding her did not match her abilities. The problem initially started with her wrists, and later from her back, hips, and ankles. She also suffered from a respiratory infection, which kept her far from the golf course. To make things even more complex, she recently learned she is allergic to certain foods. On both the PGA and LPGA tours, there was reported dissatisfaction that she received sponsors' exemptions to some tournaments at the expense of golfers with more pedigree. However, in 2014, she played her best golf, winning the US Women's Open and finishing second at the ANA Inspiration. She won 4 other LPGA Tour events, the most recent being the HSBC Women's Championship in 2018. I think if I hadn't won the US Open, I'd still be out there competing week in and week out trying to win the US Open, she told Golf Week. However, Michelle announced the big news that she is retiring from the LPGA Tour at the age of 32. Michelle Wie, like many professional athletes these days, is wary of the big scary word, retirement. Serena Williams is also not a fan of the term. Tom Brady isn't thrilled either, and Wie isn't a fan of the weight that the word retirement carries. The R word is a very capital letter R, Wie explained. You can't say retirement without sounding harsh and harsh. I believe transition is a gentler word. I also think the word retirement is obnoxious at 32 years old. Because I'm not going to retire, I'm still working and doing things. She has admitted publicly that during the low point of her career, when she was plagued by injuries, she wasn't as forthcoming with the media about everything she was going through. Professional golf can be a lonely place, especially when the results on the course aren't overwhelmingly positive. Wie's response was to downplay her injuries and everything she was going through. Things are very different nowadays. When we discussed her career in depth, Wie was as reflective as she could be. It was difficult, Wie admitted. It was a grind to play professional golf full-time. I will not deceive you. It caused me a lot of stress at times. My mental health was not always in good shape. She, too, misses it. Then there are times when she doesn't miss the 10.5 months she spends traveling each year. But she will still be involved in golf as she was before. The major champion will host her own LPGA tournament this summer, with junior players competing alongside the pros for the first time. Wie West tells the sources why she is thrilled to have women's golf in the spotlight in New York. Her second round of the 77th US Women's Open at Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club marks the end of an era for the one-time prodigy. After this week, the 32-year-old wife, mother, and businesswoman will enter the next stage of her life. She isn't retiring, but Wie West will not compete again until the Women's Open returns to Pebble Beach golf links for the first time in 2023. According to the sources, she has no plans to compete in any other tournaments. McKenna, her daughter, was born in 2020, and she says the rigors of the tour has affected her. Occasionally, if I play a lot of golf, she admitted, I'm just lying in bed, or I can't lift up, which worries me. Wie West stated that she will devote more time to other projects, such as the Nike Athlete Think Tank, which promotes women's sports and includes Serena Williams among its members. Wie West, on the other hand, stated that a return to competition in the future is not out of the question. "I'm not ruling anything out," she stated. Don't tell Wie's coach that she only played 3 times since the US Open this summer. She is looking forward to playing against Pebble Beach again next summer. Otherwise, her competitive golf days are in the rearview mirror, which is one of the most interesting times to speak with a pro athlete. And this is especially true of Wie. Wie can look back on a full career, roughly 2 decades of being in the spotlight. But when asked what the specific high point of her career was, she made an interesting choice. She felt the greatest rush of joy when she made a 6-foot putt for double bogey during the 2014 US Women's Open at Pinehurst. Normally, a double bogey during a major championship would derail a strong performance and unnerve the player, who was just trying to finish 18 holes. But for Wie, that moment provided immediate clarity. She'd hit her second shot from a fairway bunker into the par 4 16th to who knows where. That was the reaction on the TV broadcast. The Pinehurst Waste areas are normally easy to find balls in, but Wie's shot went soaring into a bush. She was fortunate that this occurred in 2014, because had it occurred in 2019 or later, Wie's search for her ball could have exceeded the new 3-minute time limit. Nonetheless, her caddy discovered it in a hideous, bushy lie. When you're leading a major championship, you don't want to find your golf ball here. Wie was forced to drop an unplayable lie, incurring a penalty, then hit on the green and 2-putt. That's exactly what she did, but it wasn't smooth because her double bogey saver was 6 feet long. Echoes of nearby church bells hung in the air. Stacey Lewis was relaxed on the practice range. Everyone on the 16th green was waiting for Wie's putt, which poured right into the cup's center. With 2 holes to go, she had a 1-shot lead, and the biggest smile we'd seen all day. Peak joy was probably when I made that 6-foot double bogey putt on 16, when I found my ball. Wie, now 8 years removed, said, "That stands out more to me than my birdie putt on 17. I can still remember walking down the 18th green and seeing everyone. There were Hawaiian friends there wearing these loud, obnoxious aloha shirts. I recall throwing a shaka at them and seeing everyone. I still remember how relieved and happy I felt when I made that final putt." For those unfamiliar, Wie took her deep sense of relief to the 17th hole and birdied the long, tricky par 3, giving her a comfortable 2-shot lead heading up to the 18th. She took care of the rest to win her crowning achievement, the US Women's Open trophy. When she came on the Golf Channel live from set, one couldn't help but think she'd be back in the game with a headset on soon. She enjoys her new role. Wie West sobbed as she approached the 18th hole on Friday, knowing it would be one of her final walks. Wie West, a 5-time LPGA winner, including the 2014 US Women's Open at Pinehurst No. 2, became a household name due to her frequent PGA Tour appearances and desire to compete in men's majors. She was a headline magnet for years, and there's no shortage of opinions about the path she took and how far she got. First and foremost, I want to state that I have 0 regrets in my career, Wie West said earlier this week. There's always that nagging feeling that I could have done more, but I have a feeling that no one will ever be completely satisfied. Johnny, Wie West's husband, plans to caddy for her at Pebble Beach next year, but she isn't planning that far ahead. When she returns home to her daughter McKenna, who turns 2 on June 19th, she will put the clubs away. There's a new puppy to chase after, as well as projects she's excited about, but not ready to share just yet. "I've had an up-and-down career," Wie West admitted, "but I'm extremely proud of the resiliency that I've demonstrated throughout my career. I'm extremely proud to have fulfilled 2 of my greatest ambitions, graduating from Stanford and winning the US Open. To be able to cross both of those items off my list means everything to me." And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you with another interesting video.